So we are going to do the next. Let me summarize till now. We have seen the two types of measurement model, the reflective and the formative. And by this time now you know what is the difference between reflective and the formative. Then we have seen if already there is a scale available and you got permission, then you have to do the translation and back translation activity. You have to modify the scale in context of your cultural setup of the respondent. And then you do the pre-testing, you do the pilot testing, and on before that, you send these items to a set of experts, and they will give you the feedback regarding the relevance of the article, regarding the clarity, regarding the ambiguity, and regarding the simplicity. And you have to mention each of these in your rather uh, whenever you write a manuscript or you are writing a PhD thesis or you are publishing. So before I and then again now you administer once you got these set of items. So you have finalized your version of the questionnaire. If some item is performing poor, like we have seen the items which are performing like less than 0.8, you delete that item and you keep the only those items which where the this overall content validity index is more than 0.8. Then you administer this to a set of people, 30 to 50 individuals, and now you have to calculate the reliability, which is the internal consistency. We'll see these concepts. So now the next is your reliability. So I hope before I go to the reliability, let me take you through one of the article, and we will use this article now from now onwards. So this was an article which was published in Nature, and you can see this is regarding the title is the design, reliability, and construct validity of a knowledge, attitude, and practice questionnaire on personal use of antibiotics in Spain. You can see this has been published in Nature, and now you see the how they have written. So if you see this abstract, so they have written like numerous questionnaires are available on knowledge, attitude, and practice. So they have. So I will only tell you the content which we have covered till now. So you can see that they have also done the item content validity index and the modified. We have not told you the modified kappa. That can also be done, but for now we have told you the content validity index. So they have calculated the content validity index and they have reported that you can see here. They have written that the SCVI and the ICVI. What was the SCVI? It was 0.95. The overall CVI of the scale, it is 0.95. And if you see the individual item, let me see why this is appearing every time. Yeah, let me delete this comment. Otherwise, it is appearing and popping it up. Yeah. So you can see if you see the item wise content validity. So item wise content validity was between 0.78 to 1. Okay. This was the item wise. And if you see the scale wise total scale content validity, so it was 0.95. So they have reported this. Okay. Again, I think Ashwati has asked regarding face validity. I told you, but again, here they have written that means you can report about the face validity because article which has been published in Nature, and we guess that that's the best practice which we should follow. So they have written that following face validity and pilot testing, you can see this. So they have done the face validity also.
Excuse me, ma'am, I had a question regarding CVI.
Yes.
Ma'am, if some questions are negatively worded, do we need to change the if we have a set of 5 questions and 4 of them are positively worded, all are in Likert scale, and one is negatively worded, that is also in Likert scale. Do we need to change 5 to 4 and 4 to 3 like that?
No. In CVI, we are not seeing the response format in CVI. We are seeing if you have just responded, you have seen that we see the relevance, we see the and there is a different score. That is that 1, 2, 3, 4 is different. what we have assessed on CVI. So CVI is relevance, clarity, ambiguity, and simplicity. The reverse scale, which you are saying, that we will do now in the consistency, internal consistency,
Okay, ma'am.
not in CVI.
Yeah, thank you.
And then if you come down, I will show how. So yes, it is the result. So they have done the, if you read this, content validity and this pilot test, phase validity and pilot testing. So they have taken the 30 adults who participated in the pilot testing. They answered the questionnaire in its totality, two participants. Now, can somebody read this for me? For us, not for me, I mean for all of us. Yes.
All the 30 adults who participated in the pilot testing answered the questionnaire in its totality. Two participants reported that they misunderstood 0 and 10 being the lowest and highest levels of agreement. We therefore added an additional indication using arrows to help the participants remember the direction of agreement. We also provided an answer example practicing sports benefits health to facilitate the understanding of the 0 to 10 Likert scale concept. One participant declared that it was not clear whether the knowledge and attitudes items should be answered in case the respondent did not use antibiotics. Therefore, we added the statement, please evaluate the below statements regardless of whether you are using antibiotics or not. For the question, the last time you had to take antibiotics, did you complete the course of treatment? The participants suggested adding one additional answer, still using them. The questionnaire took 8 to 10 minutes to be completed, and the participants showed satisfaction about the questionnaire length.
Thank you. So right now we are not focusing on test, retest, reliability because we have not covered that. But if you see the phase validity and pilot testing, and this is the result. So you can see like they have mentioned each and every step which they have conducted and what participants answered and what they have included. And then again, if you come down, so in generally in nature, the methodology, they write it at the towards the end, like after the result section. So this was we will refer this article whenever we are completing a particular section. So yes, you can see the methods here. So methods, they have actually done the this literature search. And then content validity, I want you to read we will go to this item generation process also, but their process is relatively different. So yes, can someone read this content validity? I'll just color this. Okay, I will enlarge this. Yeah, can someone read this part, content validity? Any volunteer?
The content validity of the questionnaire is an assessment of the adequateness and the comprehensiveness of the items of the questionnaire to measure the target construct and is routinely performed by a panel of 3 to 10 experts. Our panel of experts consisted of 9 members with experience in questionnaire design and who were specialized in at least one of the following fields: pharmacy, psychology, respiratory medicine, public health, and epidemiology. At first, we provided the panel of experts with the 45-item questionnaire and collected their feedback about the items' clarity, relevance, and ease of understanding, as well as the comprehensiveness of the questionnaire. The experts received the Spanish or Galician version of the questionnaire, as Spanish or Galician is their native language. They were also requested to identify the deficient areas, suggest any additional potentially relevant item or and possible answer, and make suggestions for improvement. The questionnaire was then modified by discarding any unnecessary item, rephrasing any ambiguous question, and making the necessary changes in the format. The modified questionnaire was circulated among the panelists for a second evaluation. At this stage, each of the 9 experts evaluated the content of the questionnaire by rating each item using a 1 to 4 Likert scale. 1 and 4 represented the lowest and the highest level of clarity and relevance, respectively. We calculated the item content validity index ICVI by dividing the number of experts rating that item less than or more than 3 or equal by the total number of experts As our panel consisted of 9 experts, items with ICVI more than or equal to 0.78 were retained in the questionnaire. We then calculated the scale content validity index, which represents the average of ICVIs of all items of the scale. SCVI divided by average more than 0.90 is considered to reveal a content valid scale.
So you can see like they have written everything, and it is the same which we people are doing almost, that they have received the language what the this we can skip because here people, the experts, they understand the English also. So I don't know, you may skip or may have this language thing. It is up to you. This was regarding the content validity, and again this face validity. This, Ashwat, you can only read, continue reading. This is the methodology. That was the result which Dr. Ravi, just read.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Phase validity and pilot testing. Phase validity entails an examination of the questionnaire by the research group in order to determine whether the included items are appropriate and relevant, and whether the questionnaire measures what it is intended to be measured, that is knowledge, attitude, and practice towards antibiotics. Therefore, subsequent to content validity, 2 members of the group, NM and BT, subjectively check the phase validity of the questionnaire by reviewing the clarity and the completeness of the questions to measure the target outcome. The questionnaire was then tested in a sample of 30 adults from the general population who were not related to the medical field. We asked the participants to provide feedback about the clarity and the understandability of the questions, the questionnaire design, the ease of answering, and finally on the time taken to answer the questionnaire.
Okay, thank you. So now have you understood how, and if you read, we I think we will share this article, or probably we have shared this article with you people. So if you read this, so they have written in a very simple English, and all the, and I mean, these all we will see during the later part of the, this workshop. But right now we are, and these were the questions. If you see, these were the questions: knowledge questions, attitude questions, and the practice question. And if you see, I just, for ANSI, I wanted to show this this flow diagram. So they have given the first step, which is the item generation and the questionnaire design, this one. So they have written this step, that since they have not done the interview, you have done the interview.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have generated the item, but they have taken the few items from systematic review. And initially, they have taken 1591 cap item, and after the selection, they selected 27 relevant item, and they have developed 11 new cap questions. So together, it made this number, which is 45, not 45. This is 38. So now this 27 questions. And this was the attitude. It was there as a, so they have given the response also. It was, see, they have taken in 0 to 10. Why? Because their population, their cognitive ability, their literacy in Spain as compared to India, it is different. That's why I said that if you go in the Europe and the USA, generally they go beyond 9 point Likert scale. But in India, it is difficult. Up till 5 and maximum 7. And they have 11 practice questions, which was like on a single or a multiple. So they have given response format. So for each question, it is the format is different. And for 7 demographic question, like their age or gender, probably that, they've got a single choice selection. So this was the response format. So after they have done this, now they have made a panel of expert, which they have told also pharmacology, psychology, respiratory medicine. So in this case, since already they have generated the item, and then they have formed this expert you can have since beginning also, and what kind of expertise you want from that you can mention, what all help you took from them. And then again, this content validity, you can see here they have done the content validity using these 9 experts. And you have seen in methodology also, they have said that they administered these twice, first revision and the second revision. I think one participant asked also, like, should they do twice? So it is up to you, but they have done twice. After they have finalized it, they have done this process of phase validity and pilot testing. And here they have written pilot testing as a that means pre-testing is embedded in pilot testing, according to this article. The reference which we have taken, we will give you the reference that is from an article from Sage. Difference between pilot testing and pre-testing. But if you see this pilot testing, this pre-testing is a part of pilot testing, according to this process which they have written here. And then they have mentioned everything like inserting arrows, explaining the direction of agreement, adding the sentence like please evaluate regardless of whether you use antibiotic or not, what Dr. Ravi just read, and the providing additional choice for answering question number 21. So this they have added. So till now, you now know what is the process till this
Yes,
point.
ma'am. Ma'am, for content validity, we have the calculation of index. Like that face validity, how we will have to confirm it, ma'am?
Face validity, you can say that you are the researcher because the face validity in their case also it was performed. So you are the expert since it is your research. So you can
Okay.
do the face validity.
No, ma'am, like analysis, how, ma'am? Like pre-pilot testing, if
Analysis,
you are calculating,
no.
it should.
No analysis is done for face validity. It is only the subjective. Like I said, now there is no analysis for clarity and ambiguity. It is only
Oh,
subjective. Similarly,
okay,
for
ma'am.
validity also, there is no statistical analysis or values which we have to report. It is only the content validity index.
For face validity, we have to take the feedback through the forms, or how we have to take it, ma'am,
You
for face
decide.
validity.
Like in your project, there may be 2 or 3 co-PIs. You all 3 can sit, since you have done your theoretical operationalization of the construct, you can do the face validity. You can also do the face validity. If you are not confident, you can again call 2 or 3 people and you can do the face validity with them.
Face validity. Okay. My another doubt is how we have to take it in a written form or it's in a verbal form, ma'am, face
When it's
validity.
written, if you take it in written, you have a documentation. That is always better.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Means written means someone else can record it. Maybe if they don't want to record, you can call them and someone else can record it. They don't need to pressurize them by writing or something like that. But you can call a meeting like we did for our blueprint. This thing we call all the experts through Zoom meeting, and then one of our residents were there, and we used to call out this question, and everybody if agreed or any changes, then we used to do that then and there. So you can get their response, but you, with the help of some other person, can record that.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
My pleasure. So is it clear to everyone regarding the method, this part up till this validity, content validity, the initial item generation, the language translation and all? Then I'll go, yeah.
Ma'am, unlike we discussed here, like for other than relevance, for clarity and other things, we do not do statistical analysis or statistical quantification. But here in this paper, they have mentioned that they have done CVI for clarity and relevance. They have rated both clarity and relevance, I think.
You can do that,
Okay.
but generally we don't do. But yes, if they have done, you can also do that.
But again, it's a contradictory, ma'am, because one item can be relevant, but it may not be clear.
I mean, they should have given the 2 values then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I think even they have not quantified clarity.
These items, I think they generally, if you see now in literature, the content validity is only for relevance, for clarity.
Relevance. Okay,
Maybe
ma'am.
they have written, they must have taken it on 1 to 4, but
Okay.
the index which you see, that is for relevance.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Understood. Thank you.
So now we'll go to the reliability. So what is a reliability? So I have given this example previously also. Reliability, we say a clock is reliable, a person is reliable. We always use this term, na, that she or he is a reliable person. That means you can trust. Trust means what? If you have got some work or if you ask that person to do any work, you can rest assured that that work will be done. That's the English term of reliability which we use. So, but in case of a scale measurement, how the reliability is defined. So, let's see the first scenario. So, every day your alarm clock rings exactly at 6 a.m. without fail. So, again, you need to check the validity where. Just a second. And if in the second scenario, if the clock is not correctly, like it is set to actual time, let's say if it is 10 minutes fast or slow, then you can say that validity is compromised. Again, the third scenario, if the clock is not correctly set to the actual time, and we say that it is 30 minutes fast or slow, so then you will say that validity is severely compromised. But if the clock is correctly set to actual time and every day the alarm clock exactly rings at 6 o'clock without fail, then there it is a valid thing. So can you, and what is reliability? Reliability is like every time, if the clock alarm send the alarm at 6 o'clock without fail, then we can say that it is reliable. So now, can reliability exist without validity? What is your answer? Yes or no? Please type in the chat box. So Renuka is writing yes. Ashwati is writing yes. Sai is writing yes. So true, we have seen that. Every day the alarm clock is similar is with the scale. If you use a scale, every time you do the testing, it will give you the score which is same, but it may not be the actual score. So reliability can exist without validity. So can you apply these concepts, the concepts which you have seen in these scenario? So we have seen 4 scenario. The first case, it was reliable, where every day the alarm clock was ringing at 6 o'clock, but we did not check the validity. If the alarm clock is correctly, it is not set, it is 10 minutes, so it is validity is compromised. If it is 30 minutes fast or slow, then again validity is compromised. And if alarm clock is every day it is ringing at 6 o'clock and actual time is also 6 o'clock, then it is valid and reliable. So now let's understand this concept of reliability with these 5 items. So these are the items. You can see the first item says that I feel sad when I see someone suffering. These are the items from the Toronto empathy scale. The item 2 is I try to help people in need whenever I can. The item 3 is I am moved by the distress of others. Item 4 says I feel a strong urge to comfort someone who is upset. And 5th is I am sensitive to the feelings of those around me. So these are the 5 items. Now, I have calculated, I have given this 5 items to one person. But again, what is your idea regarding the true score? So we don't know the true score of person. So I said that whether it is a formative scale or whether it is a reflective scale, you can never measure the true score of anyone. Why? Even if you measure your own weight, like in a span of, let's say 30 minutes, you have measured your weight 10 times. Then that weighing machine gives you 10 weights. So how can you say what is your actual weight? So it is very difficult. Every time the weight is not going to be same. If you take it in like decimal, I'm not talking about the whole complete number. If you talk about the decimal, let's say up till 2 point, then every time, and if you keep on increasing the decimal, how many times, irrespective of how many times you take your weight, no two values are going to be same. So then what is the true score? So true score of any construct, it is not known. But suppose for understanding and for demonstration purpose, suppose the true empathy score of this person is 4. And the observed score, if you see the observed score of first item, it is 4. The item 2 is also 4, 3, 4. All the item it is showing a observed score of 4 and it is not having any error. So this is ideal scale where all the items are measuring the true score of the person. But if you see a practical scale, so practical scale might score 3 on first item and might score 5 on another item. So you can see there is an error of -1 in first item and there is an error of +1 and -1 in fourth and fifth item. So now this is, there are 4 individuals in this case. Okay, you can see. So right now, let's focus on this first person. So the first person true score is 1. And what about the item score? The various item score is 2, 2, 3, 1 and 1. So there is an error. In this case, the true score is 5 and the item score is also near 5, like 3 to 5. Here it is also true score is 3 and the item score is also like 3, 3, 4, 4 and 3. And in this case also, true score is 5 and each item is scoring like 4, 3, 4 and 5. So what is your comment? Is the error in these 4 individual, it is low, high or fair? What is your comment? So Ravi is writing low, Ashwati fair, Chetanjit fair, Sai low. Ansi is writing high. So generally, Ansi, it is not a high error. We'll see the next case, then you will understand what is a high error. So it is up to you. It is probably low because generally it is 1 or 2, or if you think that it is fair, of course, this is subjective. You have to test this statistically, but right now it is subjective. Now, what is, if you see these in population, so true score is 5, but item is scoring this 5, 5, 3, 4, 1. Here the true score is again 5. Item is scoring 1, 5, 3, 2, 4. True score is 3. And item is scoring both 5 also and 1 also. And here the true score is 5 and item is again scoring on some item 1 and some 4. So what will you say? The measurement is high or fair or low? In this case, so yes, this is a very high error because you see that there is no internal consistency. On one question, the person is scoring 5 and another item measuring the empathy, the person is scoring 1 and all are negatively, all are positively phrased. So these errors, if such error is there, which deviates the, individual is answering, but that is very different from the true score, then that contributes to the overall reliability of the scale. So if the errors are small, that means when the difference between the observed score and the true score is small, the scale, you can say that there is an internal consistency of that scale. That means the scale is reliable in that population. Remember, reliability, we always talks about, it is not a property of scale. Rather, it is a property of the respondent or the property of total score, because the total test score which you have gotten from those individual, it is a reliability of that score, because the scale reliability will keep on changing. The reliability of scale will vary from one group of respondent to the other group. That means how the people are answering. And if it is a large error, then the observed score that deviate significantly from the true score. So the scale reliability decreases in that population. So now again, we have understood this concept of variance in the beginning of the today's session also, when we have seen the variation in the mood, daily mood, weekly daily mood. So this we have seen. I think this, you know that how you do that, you just square this and then this is the variance. And in this case, there is no variance. So now coming to reliability, how the reliability is explained in case of an item. So you know about this reflective scale. So what is this y? This y is a factor or a latent construct. This x1 to x5, they are the 5 items. And these are the error at each of these items. So how reliability is defined? So we always say that this true score, that means if you can recall that dependent and independent variable. So independent variable, if you see this x1, the score in x1. So if you see the true score, so your true score is not known, but your true score is your observed score, and there will be some error also. Okay, because this error, this is the error. So your true score of this will be your observed score minus error. This is how we define the reliability. So the reliability, actually here it is written true score by observed score, but it is the variance in true score by variance in the observed score. But you know what will be the observed score? So observed score will be true score plus error. So it is always more than the true score. That's why the value of reliability is less than 1. So how the reliability is defined? So reliability is defined as the variance in the true score in the numerator, and denominator it is the variance in the observed score. No need to remember this formula. It is there. If you we will see in Jamovi and JASP, you will get the value of Cronbach alpha. We'll just explain, because I'm not going mathematically, because it will have problem in understanding, because we all are from different background, and uh, our exposure to statistics and mathematical concepts. So I'm skipping those part. Now coming to this measurement error. So what is a measurement error? We have understood this measurement error yesterday also. That there are two types of measurement error. There's a random error and there's a systematic error. Random error affects reliability and systematic error affects validity. So these are all random error which affects the reliability. So you know that the observed value is the true value plus measurement error. So Subhapriya, you cannot, true score is not known. We cannot calculate true score. Through mathematical formulas, we can only tell how much is the error. There is no way to calculate true score. Error can be, yes, error can be positive or negative. You are right. Generally in the formula, we write this thing, but in the bracket, you can see it can be positive or negative. That we'll see in the equation. Okay. When we will do the exploratory factor, you will see the error, how much is the error. But here, the measurement error in the background, actually, what happens that you see that mathematical formula runs in the background, which takes care of this positive and negative thing. So overall Cronbach alpha, which you get, you just have to write the interpretation. What is the overall Cronbach alpha? So how this error can be reduced? So the first is the content sampling. What is content sampling? Content sampling means from the initial pool, you have selected the item, like the CAP study which you just have seen. There also you have seen that the they have selected out of 1509 something, they have selected 27, and then they have added later 11. So this is the content sampling. Out of many items, they have selected few, means let's say 25 to 35. And then we will evaluate that for internal consistency. So this is one internal consistency. This is one reliability. I mean, one measurement error which we can introduce. The second error, what is the second type of error? There may be changes in the respondents. Right now, I'm in a good mood. Yesterday we discussed also regarding the random error. So currently, if you have come to me, I'm in a good mood, and if you ask from me regarding the pain score, I will say that I have less pain. And if you come after 1 week and I'm in a very bad mood, situation is very noisy and cranky, and if you ask, I might say the score high on the same. Pain is, of course, in 1 week it will decrease, but any other construct, probably let's say anxiety, I might say a high anxiety after a week, because there is a change in respondents. So for that, you need to check what is a way to check for that reliability? Test and retest reliability, which they have also done, that CAP thing. Test, retest reliability. And third type of reliability is the difference across the raters. So if there are multiple raters, what is the difference across these rater? That is the inter-rater reliability. So basically these three type of reliability we do. Test, read, internal consistency. So today we'll discuss this reliability, the internal consistency. The rest two reliability, the test, retest, and inter-rater, that we'll discuss next week. So now coming to the internal consistency. Again, this is again same. There's another type of reliability, which is the split half reliability. Split half reliability is what? We generally, it is not very usually done. Split half reliability it is the if you have got a questionnaire, you can divide your questionnaire like first half and second half. And this is just to see whether the participants they got fatigue or not, or whether they were consistent till end. So you measure the reliability between the first half and second half of the questionnaire. That is known as the split half reliability. So these are the 4 types of reliability which is done. Now coming to the test retest reliability, we have discussed this test retest that it is also known as the temporal reliability. So this is refers to the extent to the individual they responds to the questionnaire across the repeated administration. And then you may calculate the intra-class correlation coefficient. We will see that, or the Pearson's correlation coefficient between the 2 questionnaire that can give, if it is a high correlation, that tells you regarding that the scores are stable over a period of time. In the case of CAP study, which we have just discussed, they have calculated the test retest reliability over a week of 4 weeks. Means like initial 1 week, and then after 4 weeks they have given the, and this should be administered to the same set of respondents. Like let's say you people are here, I may administer the questionnaire to you right now, and you have given responses. And then after a month, I will give the same questionnaire to you, and you will give the response. And then I will measure the correlation between these 2 scores. That is the test retest reliability. That is to check the temporal stability. Means over the time, are the participants same or there is a change in the participant. So this is the test retest reliability. So this is this. Now coming to internal consistency. For one item, it is tapping many other this thing also. That means if you have got more than that's why we say that you should not measure construct with single item. There should be many construct which many items to measure the particular construct, because then you will be then the measurement error will be less and the internal consistency of the scale will be more. So Ashwati is writing, how does the reliability calculation varies when a population is changed? Population is not changed. Okay, yes, it will change because the contextual thing, the cultural background, it is same. The scale which ANSI is developing in Tamil Nadu may not be valid here in Bihar. Why? You have to tell the reliability of that here also. Now, because the population change, then the response will change, Nashwati. It is very simple.
Okay, ma'am. The internal consistency may change if we test the same. Okay.
Internal consistency means how I am perceiving that question and how I am answering. So if population is changed, that's why internal consistency is never fixed. If you change the population consistent, this value of Cronbach will change.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
That's why you should report. Even if the scale is developed in Bihar and if I am performing the in other population of Bihar, I have to report, because maybe the population around AIIMS and the population near Nepal border, that will be quite different.
Okay.
Monisha is asking ideal interval between testing. Well, generally we say 4 weeks. It depends on the construct also, but 4 weeks generally we say minimum of 4 weeks. Renuka is asking, how do we check reliability when we cannot capture the patients for retest? I did not get, Renuka, you are saying that the same patient, it is not there. Then there are other ways of doing that. For test retest, it should be the same patient.
Ma'am, my query is that we are doing the pre-pilot testing for the cancer patients. Their usual follow-up time is like 3 months. After 3 months, means after once the treatment completed, so their follow-up will be usual for the first 2 years. For the first 2 years, it is usually 3 months, and after 2 years, it will be 6 months. So we can't test the patient immediate. Means once we administer the questionnaire, we have to wait till 3 months to re-administer the question. Then their overall lifestyle behavior, everything will change. That question is also can't able to measure the same thing.
Okay.
So
So
in that
yes.
case, how we can do the testing for the railway bus?
So yes, very, very good question you have asked. So it depends on your construct. If you are measuring something like you have just said, the test retest reliability is not applicable in your case. It is for a stable construct. If a construct is changing, like if you are seeing the quality of life, you cannot do the test retest reliability. Why? Because if it is a cancer patient or a diabetes patient, the quality of life now and the quality of life after 6 months, definitely it will change. Okay. In that case, you can do that. Maybe that I have not seen like what should be the minimum, which I think Monisha has asked. But all the types of reliability are not needed. In CAP study, that is needed. Informative construct, if you ask from me specifically, informative construct, yes, you can do that. For reflective, maybe, that period should not be more. So that cap, if you ask that, depend on the construct where it should be done, like whether it should be a week or so. In your case, if you are saying that it will change, then maybe your period should be less, what I guess now. But again, I need to check regarding the minimum time interval, because of course, in case of cancer patients, it will change. So maybe it may be, I'll have to check, Renuka. I cannot answer because I don't want you to, I mean, I don't want to misguide you. I'll have to check regarding the minimum time interval when we can give the test retest reliability for a case like yours. And maybe I will answer next week, or maybe I'll answer over the WhatsApp. But because you are right, for 3 months you cannot do because everything will change. I agree. In that case, you can do the internal consistency, which is the Cronbach alpha. And ANSI is also saying that we have to check all 4 types of reliability. See, it's better if you are developing a scale from scratch, then you should do. Answer is yes. Because your whole work is the development of a scale. And then you split half, you can skip this one. Split half you can skip, but Cronbach alpha and temporal, these two are needed. Inter-rater depends if you're like, if you are using a multiple rater, but these two you should do depending on the, need of your split half you can skip. Inter-rater, we will tell you regarding that modified kappa, that content validity. That there also we have used that. So that you can report, which we have not covered till now. We will try to do that. So this this all at least 3 types you may choose between.
Ma'am, in certain constructs, it's very transient. Every day, in every 2 or 3 days, it changes. So in that case, we may not be able to do test or retest also.
Then you can skip. You can write it like
Okay.
your construct is something which is changing. So
Okay,
that's why you are not doing test retest.
okay, ma'am. Okay.
And okay, so again, this is the same discrepancy in the measurement error that we have already done that, but again, to reiterate the same thing, like if I want to measure the anxiety and depression status of students, then I ask this following question that over last 2 weeks, were you anxious and depressed? So I've asked 2 questions here, and this is the PHQ-4 patient health questionnaire. So first question is feeling nervous, anxious, or edge, not being able to stop or control worrying. This is the second question. This is the third question, feeling down, depressed, or hopeless. This is the fourth question, little interest or pleasure in doing things. So these are the responses, 0 for not at all, and 3 is for nearly every day. That means person who scores high on these questions will be suffering from anxiety and depression. So these are the 5 individual. You can see the respondent R1, R2, R3 to R7, and these are the items. So can you say that which response you can say that there is measurement error just by seeing it, although we don't do it. But if you see the patient number 2, he has said 0 on item 1, but very high on item 3. This is the same which we have just seen in the beginning. So this is a measurement error, because a person who says never to first question cannot say 3 to rest 2 questions. What were the 2 questions? If I am saying 0 to first, feeling nervous, anxious, not at all. I cannot say like not being able to stop or control worrying on nearly every day. So this is a answer with the respondent. It is not consistent. Again, if you see the question, this one, participant 5, he is very consistent. On all these item, he has said 3. So it's he is consistent with the PHQ-4 scale. So now there is a relationship between the number of items and reliability. So if there is a positive but a non-linear relationship between the number of items and reliability. So if you increase the number of items, like initially the few participants, they asked like, can they measure construct by single item? So we said no. So answer was this. The reliability of a scale decreases if the number of items is very less. So if you increase the number of items from 2 to 10, then there is a rapid increase in the reliability. And then after 11, there is a steady increase up till 20, and then up till 30. And then from 30 to 40, there is again increase, but after 40, there is a plateau. So that's why we say that a scale length of having more than 40, it is not required. So generally in between, if you say there's a rapid increase up till 10, and then there is a steady increase from 11 to 30. So that's the relationship between the number of items. That's why you should have a fair number of items in your construct. So now what is the some basics of this reliability? So this reliability is very important whenever we are measuring a latent construct, because we have learned till now that they are not measured directly, rather we are measuring this through these items. And this is important because it indicates the consistency. So it is the internal consistency of the score, and that shows that the scores are reliable. And it is measured by Cronbach alpha, and it is commonly used for Likert type of questions. So what is this Likert? What is reliability? So this internal consistency, how we define this internal consistency? So it tells you that the items, they are intercorrelated, they are correlated with each other. That means all the items are measuring the same construct. So that will be shown by if the items are correlated with each other, then the scale is internally consistent. And then you can say that it is measuring at least all the items are measuring the same construct. And it is estimated using a coefficient of alpha, which is also known as the Cronbach alpha. The Cronbach alpha value, it ranges from 0 to 1. And if there is a value of Cronbach alpha is 0, then we say there is no internal consistency. If the value of Cronbach alpha is 1, we say that it is a perfect internal consistency. But at least 0.7 Cronbach alpha acceptable. The minimum level of acceptable Cronbach alpha is 0.7, which shows that the scale is internally consistent adequately. So the basic requirement of Cronbach alpha, that it should be a continuous variable. And continuous variable, that's why I said that you should take a Likert point at least 5. Less than 5, it will give you the result. But again, it is better if you take at least 5-point Likert scale. And it can be done also for the question having 2 responses for binary. We'll see a test which is also known as the KR20 and KR21. Generally, that is done for checking the reliability if it is a binary response. We know about this unidimensional and multidimensional scale. So the variables, about these variables are grouped into items, and then item forms a scale like a PHQ-9 and DAS. So what is a multidimensional scale? We have seen in the example of WHO QL BREF. If the scale is multidimensional, then for each dimension, you have to calculate the alpha. Why? Because alpha is for a construct. In case of a quality of life, if there is a separate physical quality of life, environmental quality of life, you cannot report a single alpha. So you have to report those many alphas for each construct. So there will be more than one Cronbach alpha. And That's why more than one reliability analysis will be needed. That's why you perform this reliability twice. First, you will perform reliability now before you administer the scale to full level. And then, because right now you don't know about the dimensions, how many dimensions are there under your construct. But once you do the factor analysis or the principal component analysis, you know regarding your components. And then again, you perform the reliability to see how many domains have been identified. It will be clarified. Don't worry. Right now, we are only telling you the theory. Once you will do it, it will be clarified. And if when the questionnaire contain multiple scale, then also it is a multidimensional. Coming to unidimensional, well, questionnaire contains only a single scale. So that's why we have seen on day one, which is the yesterday, regarding that hypertension screening, there you have seen that he has used two scales. If let me see, oh, that is, I have closed that. So if he has used two or three scales, then the alpha will be different for all those scales. So if the person has used more than one scale, then those many reliability analysis should be performed and those many alpha will be there. So what is the property of Cronbach alpha? So it is a function of length of questionnaire. If the questionnaire is lengthy means if the number of items are more, the Cronbach alpha value will be 0.8. It increases with the increase in number of items that we have seen, and it increases with the increase in variability of each item. What do I mean by this? Variability means response variability. Can you remember, we have given you one example where the person mood every day was 666, right? 6 means every day my mood is same. That means there is no variance. Then in that case, the scale reliability will be less. So depending on the response, that means it can differentiate with a person who is having a low score versus a high score. So with increase in variability of each item, the alpha increases, and there is a possibility to increase alpha by including more related items. And again, if you add items that has more responses, means the variable responses, then again you can increase the alpha. And very high, if the alpha value is very high, which is more than 0.9, then it suggests that some items are redundant. That means you can still remove few of the items. So again, it is the property of specific sample. Like I said in the beginning, Cronbach alpha is not of a scale. It changes from one population to another. So it is a property of response. Remember this, from a specific sample of respondent. This is very, very important. That's why if you change the sample, the Cronbach alpha will change. So it is not a reliability of the item. It never reflects the item reliability. It reflects the sample score reliability. And it is unique for each sample. So it is not an estimate of reliability of questionnaire under all circumstances. So please remember this. When the circumstances will change, when the participants will change, their background, their cultural context, their regional context changes, then reliability will change. And it varies from sample to sample. Therefore, it should be estimated each time the question is administered. Remember, it should be estimated each time when the questionnaire is administered. You cannot just measure it once and say that your scale is reliable. So what is the interpretation? So if it is more than 0.9, the internal consistency is very good, excellent. If it is between 0.8 to 0.9, it is good. If it is between 0.7 to 0.8, it is acceptable. If it is 0.6 to 0.7, it is questionable. And if it is less than 0.6, it is fair. There is something known as the standardized Cronbach alpha, where we standardize this Cronbach alpha. And there is something known as the corrected item total correlation. What is the corrected item total correlation? So basically, I will show this when I will demonstrate this over the data set. So this is the Pearson correlation coefficient between the specific item, means that particular item and the sum of the other item. And just remember this, that Pearson correlation coefficient for this corrected item total correlation should be greater than 0.3. If it is less than 0.3, then you can drop this item from your scale. So if this does not happen, you can consider removing them from the analysis. And then if the corrected correlation coefficient is negative, then you need to reverse recode. What Dr. I think one person, I forgot the name, he was asking regarding the reverse.
Yes, Dr. Shivam Pandey.
Yes, Shivam. We will just see this.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
And then squared multiple correlation. So you just, if the value of R square, it tells you like how much is the variance in this construct is due to the variation in the individual item. We will see these things. What is the interpretation? So now if I ask this question, just to reduce the burden of respondent, should we use the brief version of the scale? What is your take on this? Yes, right. No, because for us, the validity and reliability is must. So just to reduce the number of, the burden on respondents, we cannot reduce. So there's something known as the McDonald omega, which is also like alpha. This is a better measurement of the internal consistency. Okay. I'm not telling you the detail of this because then you will be confused regarding these points. So just remember that McDonald omega is a better way of reporting the internal consistency, but you can report both alpha and omega, Cronbach alpha and McDonald omega. And now there is something as a mean score. So what does it tell about the most of the responses? So if mean score, if I say, so if the question, if there are 12 items and all the items are on a 5-point scale, like strongly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, and strongly agree. And if the mean score is 4.1, then what will you say? So 4 is near the this agree side. So I can say that most of the participants in this scale, they are towards the agreement side. So that we mean by the mean score. This is one of the output which is there in the output of Jamovi and JASP. So, please remember validity is about the scale, but reliability is about the respondent. So reliability is always changes from one sample to another. Now I have told you that if your scale has got a binary response, yes, no, then instead of Cronbach alpha, we use this Kuda-Richardson approach. But this Kuda-Richardson approach, there's in Jamovi, if you enter this binary data, by default, it gives you the Kuda-Richardson value. It tells that it is a Cronbach alpha, but it is the KR20 and 21. And it was used before this, Cronbach alpha came up with this internal consistency thing. So yes, this can be used, KR20 and 21. You only need to mention, because in Jamovi, if you use a binary, and in JASP also, if you enter binary, instead of Likert, the value of Cronbach alpha which you get, that is, that value of the consistency, that reliability you get, that is the value of KR20 and 21. So I think that's it. And I'll show you over the data set.
If the response formats are not in Likert or binary, can't we calculate Cronbach's alpha?
No. Yeah. Cronbach alpha, in that case, can you give an example?
Like the same situation, when we give a scenario and we elicit the responses that are possible in that particular scenario, we have separate situations in which the respondent choose one situation from those. So they are not in Likert.
But you have to give some number to them, because without number, how you are going to do the analysis?
Okay.
So if you give any number, and is the weight of all the option is same? Correct. Like it will be like true, false. If you can, like, if you can share that particular thing, that it will be easy for me.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, I'll do it.
Now I'm not able to visualize that, mental.
Yes, I understand. A
little abstract for me. Probably if you can share that, we will see it, and then we will be able to guide you in a
Okay.
better.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
So I'll go to this. This is the data set. So no, I think we should. I should let me open. So yes, process. Before I go to this. So we have, I think, but few of them have given the response, na? 16 people. Okay. So what we wanted that we will administer the questionnaire to you people. I have a data set, but what we wanted, the previous participants, but what we wanted from you people that we will share the questionnaire now. All of you fill that questionnaire and we will have a data set. So I may show the internal consistency on that data set, or you want that I should demonstrate in already existing data set. What do you say? We can go either way. Yes, anyone?
I think already existing data set will be fine, or because that's my
Yes,
first.
ma'am, you should demonstrate in the existing, then we can take on our one.
Okay, so what we can do right now, I'll demonstrate. We will share the form with you people, and during this week, you can fill the form and get all of you, each individual will ask from their contact to fill the 5 forms, and then we can see on the rest of the EFA and CFA, we can do that. We'll give the instructions at the end, and right now I'll show you over this. So this is the
PDF of day 2 pilot exercise. Exercise for pilot testing. ये दिया हमको PDF.
So have you shared this?
WhatsApp पे share किया इसके लिए.
So we have shared this with you people. So objective is you have to complete this TQ as a respondent and to simulate pilot testing for scale reliability. So you are acting as a individual to be a to do this pilot testing of scale, and you have to provide feedback on the individual item to demonstrate the process of face validity evaluation. Now coming to this, we will share a Google form with you people, and you have to complete 3 sections. So, right now only section A. So yes, we have removed the section B, so you will have only 2 sections, section A and section B. And then again, the activity will take approximately 10 to 15 minutes, and you have to submit your response before the next session. And we will analyze the pilot data. So on your pilot data, again, you will do this as a breakout room activity in the next week, because right now I think I will demonstrate. If you will wish, then you can
सबमिट करेंगे, हम उनको शेयर कर देंगे उनका response.
So when you will submit that, we will share the response to you people, and you can practice it at home after seeing the video, which will be there with you people. And then questionnaire. So this is the questionnaire. You will have this questionnaire with you, the Google link of the Google form. Okay, so this we have shared with the previous participants, and we have the data of the previous participant. I'll show you over that. So this is a JASP. So I hope all of you have downloaded Jamovi and JASP. First, I will show it in the JASP. So if you have to open JASP, how you will open this? Since I have downloaded this, you type here JASP. I will tell you how to import also. So this is the JASP 19 version. Click this, and JASP import the CSV file. I have not told you the Jamovi, but Jamovi can import all the file types. But JASP can import only CSV file. So whatever is the data, you convert it and save it as a CSV file. So if I have to import a data, how I will go? Click on, this is a new, I have to import a data. So click on these 3 parallel lines and click on this open and click go to this computer, and in computer go to this browse. You can see here there are recent folders. I may go to browse, and this was the data pilot testing CSV file. So I will click and I will press open. So this data will get open on my this thing. So since I have already opened this, so this is how to do that. Go to this, click, open, go to computer and browse and show the path and click that CSV file and it will get imported. So these were the data. If I see the data, you can see edit. If you click on data, this is the data. So these were the participants you can see, and their age, gender, and their state, MBBS, professional year, blood group, and all. We took these. And then if you click on analyze, then this will appear. Again, this interface will there. So this will not be there initially. When you, I don't know if you see that we have downloaded these modules. So there's a plus sign here on the JASP. You can see this plus sign. You click on this plus sign and then you can see all it is alphabetical. So you can see the option, and if you come down, you can see like reliability. So I have clicked that and I have, if you click that, that will appear here, right? If I click SEM, if I click that, SEM will appear here. If I unclick that, it will go. Okay. So this is, I have clicked reliability. That's why you can see the option of reliability here. It is appearing. So in that, go to this plus and just click that reliability option. So now since I have got this, so I have to check the, right now I'm considering that this is a single dimension scale because I don't know the dimension. So I will enter all the questions in one box. So there are, you see, since when you open this, this is already clicked because in analysis you see that this confidence interval, the coefficient alpha, and the average inter-item correlation, mean. If you don't want this, you can uncheck that. If you uncheck that, now you can see it is buffering, and now no option is here. Okay. So currently I'll show that I will move all these questions. So these are the questions. So I think you have seen that Toronto empathy questionnaire. I have moved all these questions. I have pressed this shift, selected all these questions and moved this to this table. So you can see here, if you click coefficient of alpha, it will give you overall. So right now you can see that it is very low. What is the value of this Cronbach alpha? It is 0.296. And it is saying that there are items which are negatively scaled. So now you have to go to the original scale. So this is my original Toronto empathy scale. And if you see that the scale is saying that item 2, 4, 7, 10, 11, 12, 14 and 15, they are the negatively worded item. Like you can see, so I will now reverse scale this item because they are negatively worded. I need to put them in the reverse coding. So there is an option if you go down. This is the reverse scaled item. So I'll click that reverse scale and then I'll move these items. So second item, 2, 4, 7, 2, then 4, then 7. After that 10, 11, 12, 14 and 15. So 10, then 11, then 12, then 14 and then 15. And then I have moved these to this reverse scaled item. Now
Ma'am,
if you,
16 has come into play instead of
oh
15.
sorry.
15 is also there. Both 15, 16.
So 14, 14. Okay. We need to move 12, 14, 15. So 2, 4, 7, 10, 11. 2, 4, 7, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15. Yes. So, yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Ravi. So you can see here that I have put these into the reverse scale. Now you can see the value of Cronbach alpha. So it is 0.831. So minimum acceptable value is 0.7. So now the scale is consistent. So now can you, Dr. Shivam, are you clear now? When we move that, we need to do the reverse scaling. You don't need, you just have to put that question in this reverse scaled item. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am. Now it is clear, ma'am. So basically, for reliability analysis, we need to
Yes.
do the reverse coding, not for CVI, as you had told rightly. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
And then you need to calculate because it gives you the 95% confidence interval.
Ma'am, one more query, ma'am. Ma'am, while we are developing the scale or while developing the items only, we have to do the reverse scoring or reverse scale like that, or after to check the reliability, we have to do the reverse scoring.
See, the response format will be same. It will be like, if you see this item, Toronto empathy, the response format is like this only, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 for everyone. But that person, if it is a negatively worded answer, like the question number 2, other people misfortune do not disturb me. This is a negative question. So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
should score very low in this. Why? Because if I say that never, that means I am empathetic. I have got this empathy. So this you don't change. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This question you frame negatively. Why do you frame negative
Yes.
question? We discussed that it prevents the agreement bias. Because if you keep all positive question, the person will not read it properly. So you should insert in between. So that
Okay, ma'am.
you will come to know that participant is reading before answering if it is self-administered.
Okay, got
And
it.
then
Got it.
in the analysis, you have to do because it is the opposite score. Na? Here, low is you want low to be favorable. Here, like when someone else is excited, I too is excited. So here you want high score. If the person is empathy, you want high score.
Ma'am, but this question will not have validity, no, ma'am, to the concern.
Why? I didn't get you, Dr. Subhapriya.
Because this question, the misfortunes do not disturb me a great deal, will not have a good validity. No.
Why? Why do you think so?
Because it's negatively framed question, no, madam.
So I may say that never. It is never for me. Like if you ask from me, other people fortune do not disturb me. That is not true for me. So I will answer never. It is never true for me. So you can't say that it is not valid. This is valid. Why? Because you deliberately have framed this. So that the participant should read an answer. I cannot, if I read this question, when someone else is excited, I tend to get excited. I have scored 4 or 3, maybe often. If I see this, it upsets me to see someone being treated disrespectfully. I will say that yes, often. I don't like that someone being treated disrespectfully. So with 2 questions, I will think, oh, if I am an empathetic person, I will always tick this 3 and 4. So without reading, I will go on ticking 3 and 4. That is the agreement bias. But if you insert questions in between, then the response format of the second will be not 4. Okay. You cannot have high score on both the question. So that's how you check. You have a check on the agreement bias. I don't know whether I'm making myself clear or not. Have you understood this?
Yes, ma'am. Got it, ma'am. I
Yes,
got
ma'am.
it. Thank
What
you,
about
ma'am.
Subhapriya? What about
Yes, ma'am.
Subhapriya?
Yes, ma'am. Got
This
it.
was your query.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So now coming to this, the other. So you can have this
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
highest, Dr.
Ma'am, do we need to calculate Cronbach alpha every time we administer the questionnaire to an individual for every sample, or for
Not for
a population it varies from?
not for individual. What will I do for an individual score? I need sample. So whenever, like, can you give an example?
Ma'am, so Cronbach alpha varies from one population to another population. So every time we administer a question to another kind of population, we'll have to recalculate the Cronbach alpha for that population.
Yes. Suppose I'm using PHQ-9. I have screened the yellow fever clients here. We did one study regarding the depression of the people who are going out of India in the yellow fever clinic, vaccination clinic. So there was a value of Cronbach alpha. Again, I did one study in my rural health training center using the same PHQ-9 on NCD patients. So their Cronbach alpha will be different from the patients who are there in yellow fever clinic because the participants are different. So if the sample is different, the Cronbach alpha, you have to report a new. If you have calculated, it is not a property of scale. PHQ-9 will not have a single Cronbach alpha. Are you getting my point?
Yeah, ma'am. Understood, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
So this is the 95% confidence interval. You can see it is the lower boundary of this 95% is above 0.7. So in JASP, you get the 95% CI of the Cronbach alpha, but in Jamovi, it doesn't give. Now coming to the other analysis, which we were discussing. So I will take item rest correlation also because we need to see this item rest correlation. I'm not clicking this mean and SD now. Why? Because let me explain these things first. So now these are the 16 item and it gives you the this reliability statistics of each and every item. So this first, if you see this first column, it tells you what if this item is dropped. So overall point estimate is 0.83. Okay. What if you drop? So before this, you can see this item rest correlation. What was the value of item rest correlation which we discussed? What should be the minimum value of this item rest correlation? Yes?
0.3.
Yes.
0.3.
Very right. So I have written 0.1. So 0.3 should be the minimum value. So can you tell me which are the items which are not performing good?
2.
Yes. So I think Dr. Subhapriya, you are right in this context. See, with the participants, with the question number 2, you said now about this question.
Yes, madam.
Yeah. So now your face validity of this question, you got this right because the data is also showing the same. The item rest correlation is not good. It is less than 0.3. Okay.
Okay.
Now coming to the other, so that's what I said. Maybe the people who have developed this, it will be a good item in their population, but it is not a good item for us. Okay. And you see the Cronbach alpha. If you delete this item, then the value of Cronbach alpha goes marginally high, 0.84. Initially, it is 0.83. So it goes up by 0.01. Then what is the next item which it is not a very poorly performing item? Yes, you all have
Number 9, ma'am.
9.
9. The value is 0.02. And here also, if you delete this item, this you see that if item is dropped, what will be the Cronbach alpha? So here also the Cronbach alpha is improving marginally. And it is the question like, I find that I am in tune with other people mood. So maybe this question is not having a good reliability. So you need to report these two items. And then again, whether to drop that item or to retain that item, that is up to you. You can right now you just note it down because you are doing the pilot testing now. Probably with the larger sample, when you are doing the factor analysis, then you may reconsider this reliability. Currently, because right now my scale is not finalized. I'm doing it only on a sample of 30 to 50 individual. Remember, we discussed that pilot testing, we do the item, this content validity and reliability. So this we are doing before we administer the final version of the scale. So there we don't analyze these items to a greater extent. Why? Because if my overall reliability is okay, 0.83, then I will go with the scale as such. Probably with the larger sample, I may decide which item to drop and which item to retain. But again, you can have a note, you can keep a note of these items which are not performing good, and you can see the consistency. And the same item will show you in the factor structure also. We will see that. Item number 2 and item number 10. Sorry, 9. That they are performing poor. Any other item which is performing poor? No, I think rest all items are, the item rest correlation is more than 0.3. And have you understood what is item rest correlation? Item rest correlation is the correlation coefficient between this item, other people misfortune do not disturb me, and the rest total score item. Means rest of the 15 questions, total score, and this score. The correlation coefficient is calculated between these two. And that's how it is being reported. So have you understood up till this point the reliability, item rest correlation, how to decide on a particular item if it is reliable or not? So it gives you the overall reliability and individual reliability. It doesn't give you individual reliability, it tells you the item rest correlation. And if it is less than 0.3, then you say that it is not a good item. Can you show me the chat?
Ma'am, all these will be shown when we are doing the statistical analysis in the software only, ma'am. For each question, all these values will be given tabulated, like SPSS, how the tabulation will come. That
SPSS
kind only, ma'am.
actually, SPSS we are not demonstrating. There are videos in the Merit India YouTube channel where we have discussed this reliability using SPSS. But that was, I think, way back in 2021 probably. Because after this Jamovi, generally we don't use SPSS because it is not free for everyone. It is a paid license is there
Yes,
for.
ma'am.
Whereas Jamovi and so initially we started with SPSS, but then participants and the interface of SPSS was also a little difficult as compared to Jamovi and JASP. So that's why currently, generally, we have switched to Jamovi and JASP. But yes, of course, if you want to see, we have got our YouTube videos in the YouTube Merit India YouTube channel of this reliability using SPSS 22 version, which we have. So you can see and you can do that.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. So when we apply for every question, all questions, this will be
Yes.
the statistical values will be shown.
Yeah. There are two statistics here. You can see there is a scale statistics. So this gives you a scale statistics, this one.
Yes.
And
Yes,
towards
ma'am.
the right side, there is an individual item statistics. So this lower table gives you the individual item statistics.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, my pleasure. No, I will demonstrate in Jamovi also. For those Jamovi, do we file? Yes, we have a file here. Mhm. So this is the Jamovi. So if you open that, again Jamovi, both of madam, it is good that you should have both the software, because the scale statistics that is done better on JASP, but rest of the thing is better done on Jamovi. But the interface of both is quite similar. If you know one, you can do the other. It is not at all difficult. Everything is written and you just have to click. So Renuka is asking, but item 8 rest correlation goes less than 0.3 after removing item 2 and 9. Do we need to remove item 8 also? That's an iterative process, Dr. Renuka. But again, you don't decide removing the item now. You may decide it later in the factor structure. This finding will be confirmed in your factor structure. If the item is performing poorly, it will be reflected there also. Yes, Ashwati, these two are free. Okay, so let me close this JAS, because if you open, don't save. So this is the Jamovi interface. Here also you have to click this and you will click open, and then you can browse the file. And it imports any file type, whether it is Excel, CSV, SPSS, any file type. So this is the Jamovi interface. So in this Jamovi interface, this is the reliability. The option comes from factor. If you go click the factor, then it is not as a separate module. Here it is there in the factor analysis. So reliability is there in the factor analysis. And then again, like we have done there, you move these items to here. It gives you an overall Cronbach alpha. But remember, I said that it doesn't give you 95% confidence interval. So if you see these scale statistics, 95% confidence interval is not there. You can report the McDonald omega also, which was there in the JASP also, but uh, uh, both the measures are there. And then item statistics is also like this is also there. Here you can see again the same problem. It is less because there are many items which are reverse scaled. So you go to this reverse scaled item and move item 2, 4, 7, 10, 11, 12. So 2, 4, 7, and then 10, 11, 12, 14, and 15. 12, 14, and 15. And here also you can see item, this is 0.8. So this gives you, if you have to see this Cronbach alpha, if item drop and item rest correlation, the same analysis you can find here also. You can increase this. No, if it is data, no, then it gives. So you can see this here also. If you see the item rest correlation, the item 2 is performing low and item 9 is performing less. The rest is okay. The same finding it is there in the GEMOV also. So if it is okay up till this point, I think any other question before we end? Yes, so it is requested from all of you. Please respond to that Google form where you have to report your own empathy, and then we will share that data set with you. We will share this data set also, and then you can practice at home. Oh, this is shared.
In Drive.
It is shared in Drive. So you can practice with this and you can fill that form also. And you can practice on both JASP and GEMOV. GEMOV, download the solid version. Any other question?
For calculating internal consistency, what should be the minimum sample size? Like
I said that 30 to 10%. I said now on 5 to 10%. You
okay.
can
Same pilot that study data we can use it for internal consistency. No?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Any other question?
Ma'am, one more question. As you told, from scratch, if we start the scale development, it takes 1 or 2 years.
Depends.
Yes.
Depends.
In that case, no, ma'am, at what stage we can do the first publication? In certain papers, I have seen that even content validity along with the reliability they have reported. So
You can publish, you can start publishing protocol. So there is a protocol publication. Then you can publish up till first content validity. Again, you can publish up till first. So you can keep on doing, you can write in that the first part it has been published elsewhere. And you can find methodology there. The people, they keep on writing like, there is no such guideline. You can publish whenever you feel that content is enough.
Okay, even that small portion is eligible to be published. That qualified.
Yeah.
Okay. Ma'am, also, are there protocol publications for the scale development also?
Yeah. For any public protocol you can publish.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Last Friday.
So see you on next Friday, no?
Next Friday.
Coming, the Friday at 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock. And that is also a full day session. And then on Saturday, it's half day. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.